Oh, I really like Christine and the Queens out of France. I Disappear in Your Arms, the name of the song. It is 11:15 on ABC Radio Hobart and ABC Northern Tasmania. It's 25 years since the incredible rescue of climber Paul Pritchard from a place called the Totem Pole, which is on the Tasman Peninsula. I'd sort of heard about the story, but I didn't know much about it really until I bumped into Paul on the Larapinta Trail in the Northern Territory about 5-6 months ago. We had a chat, long chat, around a campfire. He gave me a copy of his book, and I read it in, I reckon, 2 nights, tore through it. He's been good enough to come into the studio this morning because a significant anniversary is coming up. Paul, great to see you again.
Hello, Leon. Great to see you.
We were there camping up together as a group in the West McDonnell Ranges in the Northern Territory.
Yeah. Ellery Creek, I believe.
Yeah, it was indeed, with the coldest water I reckon I've ever felt in my life. 8 degrees in a billabong in the middle of the desert. It was quite something. Paul, you're coming up for a significant anniversary in a moment that changed your life, the accident that you had when you were climbing the Totem Pole. Can you tell our audience who are new to Tasmania what happened?
We were climbing it, me and my partner. It was like 25 years ago, so it was just me and her down there, no mobile phones. So, and I was climbing it, and a rock fell on my head from 25 meters and just basically split my head open. And my girlfriend at the time, Celia she was called, she hauled me up there for 3 hours. It took her to haul me up to the ledge because she couldn't lower me back down because I would go into the sea. So she hauled me up, and then she had to just make me safe, get herself off the totem pole, climb the cliffs opposite, and then run 7 kilometres back to Fortescue Bay for help.
It's an incredible story. The Totem Pole, for people who haven't seen it before, it's actually juts out of the sea, as you say. And am I right that to get to it, you rappel across from the cliff, sort of across to the top of the totem pole, and then so you're roping through free air, and then start moving up and down the climb?
Well, it's quite complicated how you get to it. It's probably, but you can do that, or you can abseil down to the base of it and then swing across to it. But it's 4 meters wide and 65 meters high. It's one of the slenderest pieces of rock in the world, you know.
On Mornings Around Tasmania, and so the story of your survival from that, she had to make the decision to leave you there, to run 7 kilometres to Fortescue Bay to get some help. But then, of course, let's think about that. We've described roughly how precarious this position you were in. How does an ambulance officer or a police officer or any kind of help get to you, let alone start getting you off?
I know, and it was in the days before the really long winch cables. So when a helicopter came to me, Neil Smith, he was called, a paramedic, he couldn't winch down to me. So he had to get himself across to the totem pole, across the top of it, and then abseil down from the top to the ledge. He thought that he was in for a simple corpse recovery because of the amount of blood on the ledge, and then when he found that I was still alive, he knew there was no time to lose, and he clipped me to his harness, threw me over the side, and we both abseiled down again into a waiting tinny that was acting as a lifeboat.
Am I right that Neil was the only rope qualified or sort of hyper skilled paramedic that had or could even have possibly been rostered on to come get you, and it happened that he was rostered on that flight?
Yes, and he was just about to go off his shift when the call came through, so it was very lucky, I think.
Paul Pritchard's my guest this morning. Paul's story is contained in a book that I can endorse. It is a ripper. What's your book called, Paul?
The Totem Pole.
If you want to find the story of all that followed. So, I mean, the incredible story of just immediate survival, the trip back to hospital, the time in the Royal, and then all the rehabilitation that followed. You're welcome to read the book, The Totem Pole, because it is well worth it. Let's talk about how it feels now, 25 years on. What are you up to commemorate that obviously life-changing moment?
Well, I go out on a kind of pilgrimage every year to the totem pole to Cape Hoy on the 13th of February, or it was actually a Friday the 13th when it happened. But this year, really significant, a quarter of a century. And so I'm just going to walk out there with a group of friends. And it does, sometimes it's, because it is quite hard to walk out there for me, because I'm hemiplegic now, which means that I got basically a paralysed down one side. And so it's quite a trek, probably takes me 5 hours to go there and back, plus a rest. So I'm just celebrating life, really.
Yeah. It's interesting, you go back there every year.
Yeah. I mean, it's as much just to stay active as it, but it is a really important place for me now, for sure.
Well, it was, indeed, life-changing. Before your accident, you were one of the world's most renowned climbers. And you're still having incredible adventures to this day. When we caught up with each other in the West MacDonald Ranges, you were with a group of people, a big group of people, that were taking on either part or whole of the Larapinta Trail. Tell me about that test and what you were up to.
Yeah, well, the idea was to do an end-to-end of the Larapinta Trail, and it is really quite rugged, isn't it, in the Taricha, which is what the Arunda people call it. And we had a guy with cystic fibrosis, Wally, and a woman, Vonna, with stage 4 lung cancer, and Paul Allen, who had a brain injury like me, but he was actually really fit and could use all his limbs, so he was a real asset. We were just wanted to go end to end and make a film, and so we're cutting the film now.
Right, so it'll be a film that we can see. You had one of our one on ABC film crew taking charge of putting a camera on some of what was happening. It really was incredible to see you all pushing yourselves with various levels of sort of physical challenge.
Yeah.
On that trip. Who are you taking with you when you go back? Is it Monday, the 25th anniversary?
Yeah, this Monday.
Who are you taking with you on that journey?
All my family's keen, and we're taking a doctor just in case, and
you're going to head down there and for the 25th on the 25th anniversary, have a look. ABC Radio Hobart, ABC Northern Tasmania. I know you're a person who always likes to have challenges in front of you. What have you got in front of you for 2023, Paul?
For 2023, you know what? I think I'm just going to let it roll. I think I know in 24, early 24, we're planning on climbing a new route up Precipitous Bluff, which is on the South Coast track. And that is actually going to be a real challenge.
So you're still climbing?
As much as I can, yeah, with one arm and one leg. Yeah.
Well, listen, have a great anniversary. I mean, yeah, best wishes for the anniversary down at Cape Hoy on Monday. We'll be thinking of you, and thank you for coming in and sharing your story. Paul's book is called The Totem Pole. It talks about his life leading up to the events in Tasmania of 25 years ago. And then the story about the rehabilitation as well, I found really interesting, the amount of rehabilitation that went on and the places that happened right through to present day. Paul, great to see you this morning. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Leon.
Paul Pritchard on Mornings Around Tasmania. You can join us too, 0438 922 936. 0438 922 936 if you'd like to send us a text. I can't believe you bumped into Paul on the Larapinta Trail, says a listener this morning. His book's quite breathtaking, isn't it? Philosophy, which has done the miles. Thank you for that. Paul's book is amazing, says another listener. Being in the medical world, it's just an amazing recovery. Ollie and I are enjoying the interview, says X-Ray Steve this morning. Thank you, X-Ray Steve, for the text. It is coming up to 5. It's the news at 11 o'clock. Been great to have your company. We're also taking texts about times when the technical equipment has failed while someone's been performing.